What you know about Drew? What you know about Drew? What you know about Drew? What you know? I said my Drew man is cool. My Drew man is popping.
Cleveland is popping.
Cleveland is popping. Yeah. Drew.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, welcome to Cleveland Rocks.
Wow,
we're just going right into it.
That's the quickest we've ever done that.
Yeah. We really after we finished the episode, while we were setting up, you said, "What you know about?" And we didn't really extrapolate it much.
No.
We just put Drew in. What you know
That's
about?
kind of what I do now.
Yeah.
My Drew kind of bled into my life like that.
Yeah.
Where now I'm just like singing about Drew and Cleveland.
Yeah. Sure.
I don't even like Cleveland.
No,
but I do I like fictionalized Cleveland.
Sure, you like it more than real Cleveland. Absolutely, I get that. It's how I feel about. I actually don't feel that way about any sort of location. I'm trying to think. Like, I like fictional Philly. I like real Philly. I like New York. All of it. Fake, real,
fantasy,
anime New York. Yeah, that's these are scenario.
Anime Cleveland.
Yeah, anime Cleveland.
They don't have a Cleveland anime yet.
No, it's just like some young schoolgirl running around the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah.
I don't know anything about anime, so I'm gonna go with
Buddy Holly was kawaii. Something like that. I think could be it. Yeah, that'd be cool. How you doing, my guy?
Oh, buddy, I'm all right.
Yeah.
It's hot.
Yeah, it's hot.
We're doing this in a heat wave.
Yeah.
I won't tell you when we're recording this.
I'll tell you, not the date, but it's a lovely Wednesday evening.
Yeah, it's a Wednesday evening and it's hot.
It's a little cooler at night. Yesterday was pretty bad. Yesterday it was like 100 degrees at 10 o'clock, and I was like, this is actual hell. No, it's not good. It's bad.
I go to bed.
I'll be brave.
I go to bed at 10 o'clock, so I don't really know.
No, you don't.
11 o'clock.
10 in the morning.
Oh, 10 in the morning.
I'm saying 10 at night, it was still 100 degrees.
Oh.
Yeah. When you're getting
ready
to
for
go.
work.
Yeah, you're rising and grinding. Yeah, that's crazy. We are at a heat wave, but you know what? We're chilling.
We are.
We're cool.
I really, for the first time, I really looked at that Drew Carey show YouTube today.
Yeah, the YouTube
channel. They're really
channel.
just throwing it up.
They're uploading
dude.
all of. I do wonder how many they're going to upload. Like, is it just season one,
I
or
was
will
also
they
laughing
upload all
because
of it?
their YouTube also, it pretty much does the same like thumbnail pictures
as ours.
It's the exact same, like to the point where I was like, I wonder if the people can click on ours
and think it's an episode
and think it's the episode. Like it's
I mean,
really
that's not my
that
intention. If it happens, no.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a whole like sort of aesthetic. I mean, granted, they had an aesthetic established 30 years ago that we're sort of aping a bit.
Yeah.
But we had like YouTube thumbnails, and I had been working on this for like months, and then we launched it, and then 24 hours later, it turned out the Warner Brothers team had also been doing a very similar aesthetic.
They hacked into your computer.
Yeah, they got into my MacBook.
They saw Iran sold them all your data.
I'd rather them do that than get into my nudes, though, honestly.
Well, you don't know what Warner Brothers has in store next.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going to put on Discovery Plus.
You haven't been on the Discovery Plus OnlyFans.
Oh, no, I'm on Planet Nature or whatever the fuck. The Discovery Plus OnlyFans.
Yeah, they're just relaunching Naked and Afraid, but it's just your nudes.
They're losing so much money that Zaslav has to start an OnlyFans.
yeah.
That's pretty good.
They are doing, aren't they? There's some news with Warner Brothers where they're like separating the company.
That's correct. Yeah,
they're separating the actual like production side of the company from, or was it TV from film?
It's
or was
essentially
that streaming? It's streaming. Sorry,
it's
they're separating
production and streaming, and then there's something called Global Networks, which is basically all of their cable stuff.
That's what it is.
But my question is, where does like the Drew Carey show isn't actively in production, and it's not really. It's on YouTube, but it's not streaming anywhere. But so
property of theirs,
right? But it goes into the TV thing. Not to get too far off into this, but the interesting thing for me is Turner Classic Movies, right?
Yeah,
is a cable channel now, so it'll be it's always been a cable channel, but it's going to fall into that Global Networks division.
Yeah,
but all of their content comes from Warner Brothers movies, which are now in the other company. So,
but
do they have a deal? Do they have to license the movies from the other company? I don't know.
I don't really know.
I think they're just going to fucking end it. I think they're going to sell all of these cable companies.
I'm pretty sure that's just the goal.
Yeah.
They're going to do an NBC here, and they're just going to split it off.
Spin off everything that doesn't make money.
There should be one company. Ooh, here's an idea. One company that goes and buys all of cable.
Sure.
That's for sale.
Yeah, there you go. I'm sure that would have no legal repercussions.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll just fly.
What if we did it?
to... Yeah?
Yeah, we could. I think if we started a GoFundMe, we could maybe afford to buy. I'm trying to think of any cable networks that Warner Brothers has other than Turner Classic Movies.
Yeah, could we just buy one?
Yeah.
Or is it a group package?
No, you probably have to buy them as a group.
Can we just get like one single? Oh, God, I don't know.
Can I just get. Do you guys still have Spike?
Yeah,
What's going on with Spike?
Spike is good.
No, or Spike Paramount. I think Spike might be Paramount.
What about like there's a whole like History Channel.
There's no fucking way the History Channel is owned by Warner Brothers. I mean, maybe.
I don't know,
Google
man.
It. Yeah. Just give me CNN. You don't even want it. Just give it to me.
Yeah. I don't even know if I want it, but we can try. I was just talking to my girlfriend. She's back home with her parents. She was saying they're just the folks that leave CNN on all the time,
sure,
24/7, and I'm just. I remember. I feel like at one point, maybe during the pandemic, I was that guy.
Yeah,
but I genuinely cannot stand leaving CNN on.
You
unless
were doing it for work too.
Yeah, unless it's like an election night.
Yeah.
If I were to sit down and just leave CNN on like all night now, I think it would drive me crazy.
The interesting thing is like a CNN parent is fun because like I can visualize like a Fox News parent and I can visualize an MSNBC parent.
Yeah.
But a CNN parent to me like is just a corpse. Like I don't know who is watching CNN if you're not in an airport.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to make your living room feel like an airport bar.
Yeah. All a bunch of sad Applebee's appetizers. There you go. We watched 2 more episodes of the Drew Carey Show.
Yeah, I know you guys were sitting at home and you were wondering,
what are they doing today?
I wonder what they did today. I hope they watched 2 more episodes.
We did. So there's like 26. We're getting near the end of season 3 here.
Yes.
We're chugging slowly but surely. We're at 21. So we're
in the dog days of summer.
Yeah, we are.
Working through, I guess it's in the dog days. We're still at the beginning
of summer. It's the puppy days.
Yeah. But either way.
Days of summer. 20 and 21. Yeah, these were like roller coasters emotionally, I think. Like,
yeah.
We were talking after the first one that we're going to get into it. I was like, holy shit. Like, just, makes you
pulling
feel.
At the heartstrings.
Yeah. And then the other one's just like, it's goofy, but it's like also like, I mean, we'll get to it, but like weirdly horny, like the whole thing. It's just like the whole range of emotions.
This show really has that.
Yeah,
has that
pendulum swing.
Yeah,
sort of. Yeah,
weirdly horny is a level it can get to very quickly.
Absolutely, right after heartbreak. Yeah, but we start with season 3, episode 20, The Bachelor Party.
Yeah,
I thought so. This is Drew's bedroom. We start in. I thought it was a hotel room.
Right. Well, it's so adult now, and I just remember it wasn't all that long ago that we had an episode where Drew was in his bedroom. I guess it might be all that long ago, but we're only in season 3.
Yeah.
Where he was basically in his childhood bedroom, if you remember that correctly.
Well, I think that was his parents had moved in.
Yeah,
so I had
back.
the same thought, though. I was like, where's the bunk bed? Because there's that scene with him and the girl, and they got a bunk bed. And But yeah, no, I think it was because his parents...
Now he's back to having sex in his parents'
bedroom. Yeah, no, he's in there. And he's like in like a robe, kind of like, whatever, just hanging out, dancing. Why did I think he was dancing? Knock on the door. We get repair woman Nikki coming in.
I would just wanted to say here.
Yeah.
They have and I guess the intention is, where this episode goes.
Yes.
The makeup that they're putting, or the prosthetic neck that they're putting on
insane.
Nikki looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like
Norbit levels. Like
right,
it looks, it's like what the fuck
she
they made Eddie
looks
Murphy
like Eddie
go through.
Murphy, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy. I agree. I was like immediately. I was like, oh, and I was like, oh, like it's not even like it's like. It's just it's inhuman. It's not even like a real. It's not what a person would look like.
No, it's the weight, like the distribution.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. The
like
physics of
how
her
some
neck.
people are like, oh, I gain weight in my thighs versus my belly or whatnot. This person, she gains it all right under her chin.
Right. You're right.
I'm like it's like a bullfrog neck.
She inhales, it just all goes in. No, it is wild. But yeah, she's looking like that. She's got a handkerchief sort of neck thing. She's but it doesn't hide anything. It's like, you know, and yeah, she's playing clearly a role. There's foreplay elements.
The electrician role play didn't. The electrician outfit did not help her cause either.
Right. But she comes in and, you know, she's flirting with Drew about like, I'm gonna get into your sockets and fix things up.
Yeah.
And she's trying to fix like a light or something. And she's like, have you been
Because
flicking
you need
this
to have
on and
a
off?
practical goal,
Right.
when you do role play, guys.
Right. No, it's important.
Or else it's really unbelievable.
Yeah, you can't just zip zap zop your way through it.
No.
You've got to have a
She
mission.
came in
a
and they're
script.
like, okay, that's going to be the broken lamp on that end table.
And I'm gonna say this line, and you're gonna make an innuendo about your penis.
I do love that it's sexy time, and Drew is also in his cowboy pajamas too, his full cowboy pajamas.
Yeehaw, man! I mean, what else are you gonna do? I thought it was gonna be the TV that was broken, and that's why. But the TV plays a whole separate role here.
Didn't see this coming.
Because we find out they're filming it. They're making a little sex tape.
Yeah,
This was on ABC like prime time in the 90s. The Clinton administration was crazy, dude. He got one blowjob, and everybody was like, yeah.
there's something that makes it more palatable. Like, you couldn't do it where it's just like people filming it on an iPhone.
No.
There's something where it makes it more palatable where it's like a recorded videotape.
Yeah, he's got a
plugged
whole
into a
AV
TV.
system.
Yeah.
He's got like a fucking camcorder, a tripod set up.
Yeah.
Like,
That-
I
there's
don't
something
think
about
Drew
that
Carey,
makes it more
I don't think
palatable.
somebody had to tell Drew Carey the equipment he needed. Fictional Drew Carey, the equipment he needed to record a sex tape.
Yeah.
He went into like a B&H or whatever they have in Cleveland.
No, that was Radio Shack back
He went
then.
into Radio Shack. He was like, "What do I need? Tell me what I need."
There actually is a Radio Shack section behind the beads in the back where they just have a bunch of video cameras.
Yeah, just ready
and
to
tapes.
go. And there's one weird dude with a mustache just licking his lips.
Yeah.
I know what you want. But yeah, they're filming it. And then Nikki gets kind of worried about like what are they gonna label it? We need to label it something that no one would ever want to see.
Drew's like, well, how about just Drew has sex?
It's pretty good. But then they end up going with something like about HR. I can't remember the exact title. I don't know if you got it.
50. I'm not going to
HR
pretend
seminar
to know it.
with 50 ways to increase productivity.
Exactly.
Or
It's some shit like
nonsense.
that. I knew the word number 50 was
Very
there.
specific, like sort of, dull sounding work
Yeah.
tape. That you would think no one would ever want to pick up and look at. So, right as they're about to start going like hot and heavy, Drew gets a phone call from his mom.
Yeah.
And Nikki's like, just hang up. And he's like, no, what? I can't do
It
that.
already answered too, which
Yeah,
is annoying.
she was already on the line.
Yeah, it already. Yeah, so he couldn't hide.
Yeah.
But
Nothing sets the mood up for recording a sex tape with your lady, like getting a phone call from your mom.
Yeah. Well, that was the problem, having the landline in the bedroom.
That's true.
That used to be probably a thing. You couldn't put "Do Not Disturb" on that. You'd have to rip it out of the wall.
You
Probably. You
couldn't
probably
mute
used
your
to
phone.
unplugged it.
Yeah, or you just put it in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody's having sex in the kitchen.
But you need a bedroom phone.
Do you?
Didn't your parents have like a bedroom landline?
No, we had one like in the kitchen living room area.
No. See, we had a few. We had one in the dining
guess we
room,
did
one in
have
the
one.
kitchen, and
We-
then my
had one
dad
upstairs.
had one on his end table.
No, I don't think we had one in the end table. We did have one in, now that I'm thinking,
Now
the
that I think
upstairs
about it,
hallway.
It looked exactly like the
Like
one
Drew's?
that was in the show.
The cord, like with the curly cord.
with the curly cord. It was beige.
I don't remember ever having a curly cord. We had like a wireless one, so that's where we had an upstairs one you could take into a bedroom.
Yeah,
but we
yeah.
didn't have like a.
The one in your hallway you could take into a bedroom and had a really long cord. You could lay on the bed. You could kick your feet up and talk
You
to
could
your pals.
twirl the cord in your finger and be like, "No,
Yeah.
stop, stop it! You hang up."
So we quickly find out in this phone call with his mom that they are coming up.
Yeah, they're
he's
coming
like,
into
I'm looking
town."
forward to seeing you guys tomorrow.
In the same way that Drew met Nikki's parents, it
They're
seems
go-
that
they're go-
Nikki's going to get to meet the Careys.
Yeah, apparently they've seen pictures, but they haven't really met her yet.
yeah. And
So-
they're dying to.
Yeah,
This
of course.
woman-
Whoever has agreed to marry Drew,
You
the seemingly the worst but best person in their life.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
like, I don't know how anyone could marry this person, but
my
thank you.
son,
My son.
the loser. But yeah, no.
Yeah, hangs up the phone, and they get right back into role play. A little bit of kissing, and that's it.
And then we
Cut
go
the credits
to the titles. Then the next scene, we get Drew's parents. They're already there. They're downstairs making breakfast.
Yeah, making themselves at home.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is their home. This is the weird thing. It's their home, but it's not their home. Whatever.
Yeah.
They know the whole thing. So yeah, they're there. Nikki's not even like down yet. She's still getting ready. Everything seems normal, but then Nikki comes down and she's all dressed and like there's like weird immediate like tension of like, oh, you're here. Like didn't think that they would be here. Was clearly like trying to dart. She's got to leave for work
at the airport.
Yeah, they called her and they said you have to be at the airport in an hour.
I think even you asked. I was like, I don't remember what she does.
She works in real estate. This is how Drew met her, I think, because when the neighbors, if you remember all the way back, the neighbors across the way. She sold their house.
Yeah, that's
I think.
right.
Yeah. So where do you got to fly to?
Maybe a client's coming in. She's going to pick them up at the airport.
She's doing a real estate conference.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important. We got to send you there right now. But anyway, the vibe is off, I would say.
Well, okay, I'll save this till the end. I was going to say, or she's just got to get the hell out of town.
Well, I mean, that's clearly, I think, what I was saying. Like, she just doesn't want to be there. She got to leave.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out what could possibly be going on.
Yeah, there's hugs around. She gets the hell out of there, and
Drew's dad departs to his office, which is the bathroom.
Yeah, and Drew's mom makes a comment about like, well, that's one big beautiful girl.
Yeah.
A reference
a very
to
pointed sort of weight comment.
Weight.
But she's happy.
Yeah,
and they're both
she's
very happy.
They're both happy that anyone's marrying Drew.
Yeah. And they almost like don't believe it. Like they're like checking her, being like, "Are you?"
Which again is like, I'm like, how.
He's right there.
He's
Your
right
son's
here.
right
Come
there.
on.
Come on. Let him have this. Let him have the win. So Drew's dad goes upstairs to take a big old shit.
And then Drew's crew obviously rolls on through the door.
Right as Drew is trying to tell his mom something. We get this moment where he's like, "Mom, I need to tell you something about last night."
Yeah.
And then as he's starting to get into it, we get the whole crew coming in. They're so excited to see the Careys.
Yes. And the Carey and Miss Carey at least loves them, except for Lewis.
Yeah, but
as we do remember.
Yeah, but she's thrilled for Oswald and Kate.
And Oswald's lugging around a ball and
chain with Kate's name on it.
Yeah.
Which you're confused as to why, and then you realize, bachelor party season is upon us.
Yes.
For these two bachelor boys.
Yes, and where better to have your bachelor party than
Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio, at the bar down the street, baby.
The one that we always go to. You know it, you love it. It's lived in.
Yes.
It's good. I just did my very first bachelor party.
Yeah.
Atlantic City. Atlantic City almost killed me, I think. I don't think I'm built for that kind of city.
I don't think like a lot of people are built for Atlantic City.
Right.
I think it's a uniquely downtrodden part of America past. It's just something that has so clearly lost all of its glory days.
It just felt...
But it's also still built on debauchery, so it's even more uniquely just like, what the fuck is this?
It was a land of sin, but it was completely abandoned for the most part. It was so weird. Like, you would walk around during the day, and like there were people. I don't want to make it seem like there wasn't.
Yeah,
but
it's still like a place.
The streets are almost entirely empty.
Yeah.
And like the boardwalk's pretty empty. There's bars that are happening. We did like a bar crawl one night and hit up a bunch of spots. There were people there.
Yeah.
But like you're like, where the fuck?
Because there's like beach communities around it.
Yes.
So
you got like your Margates,
like,
your other beach towns, Ventnor and things. But I was like, where the fuck is everybody? And then you would go into the casinos. And you're like, oh, this is where everybody is. Everybody's staying inside the windowless rooms.
The Borgata.
Yeah, no, exactly. We went to the Tropicana a bunch, and it was just like a bunch of grannies just hitting the slot button over and over and over. And I was like, oh, I understand.
Yeah,
I
think they just
bust
bust them in from like retirement homes in New Jersey, Patterson.
I think they
Burlington.
might be a retirement home. I'm not convinced that like I was waiting to go into a room and find like a TV playing like oldies or something, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
I really was like, God damn, I should have realized this. You can smoke in casinos.
Yeah.
Like the smoking sections were it was rarer to find a non-smoking section than a smoking section in a casino. I was like, God damn, we really are like in the 1960s.
No, it's awesome.
Did not win any money. Did not lose. Well, actually, no, I did lose money, I guess. I put in $50 on blackjack. Did I tell you this?
No.
I put in $50 on a blackjack like computerized machine.
You're always gonna lose on those.
I was debating going to like a proper table, but I got scared of like actual people because I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah. Well,
So,
the nice thing with
computer,
blackjack,
you can just wait.
the blackjack, the nice thing is everyone kind of wants you to play by the book
Yeah.
at a table. So like the dealer will, like you can ask them, and they'll be like, "What do you think?" And they'll be like, "I'd hit or I'd sit." Like they're gonna tell you what to do because everyone at the table. The theory with blackjack is if you're playing by the book, it's only gonna work if everyone is doing it.
Right. Well, that's
and
what
then
I was
everyone's
reading.
gonna get mad whenever you
Right,
don't
no,
do it
exactly.
that way.
Everybody-
but like they'll
it's
help you that way.
Kumbaya is sort of the vibe, but also that's not true because everybody's out for themselves and you gamble.
Sure, but
It's
they're
an individual
they're
group
only
mentality.
going to win if you do the smart play. Maybe it increases their chances.
Sure.
Anyway, the electronic machine though, I feel like they'll
I was
trick
up-
you. They'll
I
be
was
like,
up-
here's $20.
Yeah.
You're up.
I was up $225.
That's crazy
And I
on
was-
those machines.
But I was like, that's not enough.
how
I
long
got
were
it in
you
my head.
playing that machine?
30, 40 minutes.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and then I just continued to put down bad hand after bad hand. And you know me, I'm not the best gambler to begin with. You've played poker with me, and I
Dude,
don't have the patience for
If
it.
if I doubled my money on an electronic, if I would have got up $50, I would have been out of there.
Yeah.
That's crazy. To get up 200?
Yeah, I
Good
got
for
up.
you,
I got
man.
up 4 times what I put in, and I just fucking blew it. It was
Yeah.
bad. But you know what? We learned lessons. I had fun, except I would never. Well, would I never go back? I'd probably go back. That day we left, I was like, I'm never fucking coming back to the city because I got fucking trash. But
Yeah. No, I haven't been in quite some time. I feel like the last few times I've gone to Ventnor, and I've been like close, but I haven't really
yeah,
been.
you're adjacent, but you're not in the heart.
The last time I went to the AC, I was just like on the boardwalk, and I was like, oh man, it sucks.
It's gross and weird, man.
Yeah.
yeah. It's like there's nothing.
And nobody
there.
even goes in the beach.
No.
It'd be one thing if it was like the water was like people were out there swimming. But then if you go literally like half a mile south, everyone's in the water
Everybody's
swimming.
in the water. Everybody's on the sand. Yeah, it's a weird place. But
Yeah.
glad I went. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Shout out my brother.
Any good shows in town at the time?
No, we didn't see anything. I mean, it was so weird. It was the weekend after Memorial Day, and like nothing really piqued our interest. I thought about trying to get like into a club. My brother didn't want to do a club. It's my brother's wedding we were getting ready for. So
Yeah. Shout out
shout out Colin.
Colin.
I don't think he listens to this. Colin, if you do, text me about this. He won't. I will bet you money. But anyway, yeah, we got the boys' bachelor party cooking.
Yes. They're yelling to Mr. Carey, who's upstairs still taking a shit. I
Yeah.
guess he won't come down.
He's filing paperwork.
Yeah, that's what he said in the office.
In his office, man. God, I can relate. I can relate to the bathroom being the office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's-
you used to take a long time in the bathroom.
It's my domain, dude. It's my space.
You used to go in there and you'd be in there for an hour and a half in the morning.
It's not what you think, Mom. I really, I don't know, man. But you know what? That's why I got the hemorrhoids. Anyway, doesn't matter. We're not getting into that right now. But,
This episode's brought to you by Preparation H.
My hemorrhoids are so bad sometimes. I got preparation A through Z too, just ready to go, man. Shout out sitting on the can.
Oh man,
It's my
I love
throne. I love it.
Shane live at the Apollo. My hemorrhoid's so bad. Quickly, the gang leaves. They say they got to go pick up beer, and then who comes through the door? Well, at this point, Drew tries to reclaim the moment and talk to his mom and be like, "Hey, I'm not gonna get married to Nikki."
Bombshell out of nowhere. Just like
We
I don't
didn't
know.
expect it.
Something happened last
It
night.
felt weird. But
I don't want to get into it.
God, but like the last moment they had, they were being so cute on the on the
sex
recording.
tape. They
on
were
the
about
sex
to
tape.
have sex.
Literally, the last thing they said, like Drew, like leaned forward on the camera, and he was like, "I'm going to dedicate this to our children who might find this someday." And this was our first date. It was very fun. I didn't expect.
Did you have an
them to be
idea
breakup.
of what it could be or why? I had an idea in my head that was not correct, so I'll say it now.
No, I didn't. I didn't really. I wasn't thinking I had
thought-
that much. I thought maybe it would have to do with the weight, but I don't know.
I thought he called her Kate. That was my guess in my head.
Oh,
I
that's
was
a good one.
He fucked up. He fucked up real hard, and he doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
That was where I thought it was going to go. I was like, oh, shit.
Damn.
Yeah, because we got to tie that together too. There's so much, and we get to at least the trial in the next episode.
Drew's gonna object at their wedding, isn't he?
Oh, maybe.
I'm putting money on it now. You can go on DraftKings and bet on Drew. Does Drew object at Kate's wedding?
Yeah, we're talking about a late '90s sitcom plot, and you can bet money right now on DraftKings.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I was like. Oh, you know what? It's probably like he said some weird shit in bed or something, and
Yeah.
yeah, but I don't know. But yeah, no. So yeah, he breaks it to his mom, and his mom is just so crestfallen. She just can't believe this. You know, they wanted it so bad. Just they want to be happy for their son. And
They just met her.
Yeah, they just met her.
Yeah.
She was a beautiful angel, they had said.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's a bummer for them. And it's
then
an even
immediately
bigger
her mom,
bummer for his dad.
Her mom immediately is it a weight thing? Like she's trying to understand it. Drew's beating around the bush. We still don't get an answer yet. And at this point, Steve, Brother Steve, bursts on through the door in a full dress.
And my man is committed to the cross dressing.
Yes.
Shout out Steve.
We haven't seen him in like several episodes, and I forgot that he lived.
He must have, but he doesn't live in the house.
No, he doesn't live in a house.
He lives in Cleveland.
But I forgot that he lived in Cleveland.
Do you remember the last time though? Like I think when we left that episode off, the impression was going to be he lives with Drew.
Yeah,
Has not happened.
It hasn't happened.
I don't know where he is. I don't know if he's still working at Winfred Louder. It's weird that we would not see him at Winfred Louder.
Yeah.
Bunch of weird stuff going on with Steve this season that has nothing to do with what they thought was the weird stuff at the time.
Yes.
Just like I'm confused about him.
Yeah.
But
I don't know where he lives or what he's doing, but he's there. Made an appearance
and he's in a
today.
dress, and he
and
decides,
his mom knows about the cross dressing.
She's okay with it.
Yeah.
But he decides he's going to reveal it to Mr. Carey. He's going to tell his dad. So, you know, we start hearing, I think, him doing like a little song. He's humming a song, and Drew's mom goes, "Oh no, he's almost done." Like she knows the routine.
Right.
And it just makes him like kind of shove Steve out of the way. Steve also finds out at this time that the wedding's off, and he's like, "Well, does that mean the bachelor party's off?" And Drew immediately is like, "Yeah, we should cancel this bachelor party." But
his mom's like, no, you're not gonna, ruin this night. You're gonna do this for Oswald still.
And his dad.
His
dad's been going through depression, she says, on and off for the last year.
Dads can't do that.
Yeah, dads can't be sad.
No.
Sad dad.
Dads aren't allowed to have depression.
Dad, don't be sad, be glad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dads are supposed to not understand depression. It's supposed to be this just like weird feeling that comes from the depths of their body that they just beat down with meat and beer.
Fathers are a machine that take depression, mix it with alcohol, and they turn it into anger.
Yes.
So it's confusing to me that Drew is not.
Yes.
Yeah. But
radicalize your depression.
Make it your enemy. Make it your weapon.
Yes. Yeah. Turn it against the world.
In case we're being ironic.
This is called irony.
This is called irony. But no, yeah, so Drew's mom basically makes the whole thing go forward. No, we're not going to say no to this. You're going to do the bachelor party. We're going to act like everything's fine for the sake of your father.
Yeah.
And also, you're not telling him you're a crossdresser.
Yeah.
So,
mom's still laying down the line.
Yeah. Mama knows best.
I have half a mind in that moment if I'm Drew to be like, fuck you, I'm an adult. This party's off. Yeah. But whatever, she's right. I think she's right on some degree. Although we come to find it does put him in an awkward situation later.
Absolutely. But speaking of awkward situations, with the next scene, Drew's mom's at the office.
She's just looking for Drew. She bought him a new shirt.
Yeah. And she's just like, I want to see if it fits for the bachelor party. He's going to try on the shirt what are you thinking? He's going to come home.
Yeah.
You know where he is at night.
Yeah, just like give him the shirt at the house.
She's a little impatient as a mother, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I guess she is.
A little uptight.
Imagine you are coming home to visit your son who lives in your house in the place you used to live. Mm-hmm. I guess you're not doing much besides just shopping for clothes for him. I don't know.
You're trying to keep together the fabric of your family, I guess.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, she's not doing much.
So anyway, at this point, she decides to strike up a conversation with Mimi.
Mm-hmm. She gets into marriage and the bachelor party and things.
She asks Mimi why she hasn't settled down.
We get a great Mimi line, which is just, I consider wedding rings to be the tiniest pair of handcuffs.
Yes.
I'm trying to think how that would, because there's only one. Well, I guess no, there's two, but they're different
you get
hands.
handcuffs. That feels like is that a good ring design?
Handcuffs?
If you get one ring fitted for
like a middle and a ring finger?
middle and a ring finger.
Yeah.
And then you link them by a chain. Is that cute?
Maybe like, I don't know.
Let me know in the comments if that's cute.
Maybe if it was like a felon wedding.
Yeah,
Do they have those
yeah.
where like they really lean into it?
I'm sure.
Know? Yeah.
Do people get married in jail?
Can you? You probably can.
Well, hold on. You are someone that's ordained, right?
Yes, I am an ordained minister with the Universal Life Church.
So,
Reverend
could you?
Shane Duffner.
I guess you have to do the paperwork, but you could have somebody mail you the paperwork.
Yeah.
You are an ordained minister. You are in jail.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, there's got to be versions of you in jail then.
But don't you hear about the idea of like, oh, I'll wait for you? Like women who like, well, not even just wait in terms of like, but you know what I mean?
But
like,
what if you find your love in jail?
Wasn't there that woman, that reporter that fell in love with Martin Shkreli? The dude who went to jail because he was like frauding all those medical companies. Like he was like raising the price of insulin or whatever the fuck, 5,000%. And I think like there's a woman who was reporting on him and fell in love with him over the course of her reporting, and then they got married after he was released. Yeah. I guess no, but what you're saying isn't, can a person outside marry a person? Can two people in jail get married in jail? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. I don't know. My understanding of prison is there's generally no rules in prison. I don't know. I don't know if there is a rule for that. But anyway. Yeah, no. So Mrs. Carey's talking to Mimi and then kind of lets slip out that there's trouble in the world of Drew.
Yeah, trouble in paradise.
Trouble in
is
paradise.
what I call it.
That's a good way to put it. He's getting cold feet. The wedding's going to be off. And
remember, it's important distinction there. Drew is getting cold feet. That's how he's framing it. That's how he frames it.
That's how she
to
tells
his
it
mother.
to him.
That's how his mother tells it to Mimi.
Yes.
That's what's going around right now.
Drew doesn't want to get married anymore and is calling it off. So
Mimi has an interesting moment here.
Yeah.
Drew and Mimi, I've never felt a tension between them.
Yeah, no.
Like a sexual tension,
Romantic,
or
or
romantic,
nothing.
anything in that vein. I've always just been like, oh, they genuinely hate each other, and it's kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
But there was a kind of a moment here where Mimi like goes on this whole rant about, well, that's because he
doesn't have someone who's right for him.
Right. He needs a strong woman. He goes for all these soft little doll girls. Like, he needs somebody strong and tough and
still beautiful,
seemingly, and still beautiful and good in the sack.
Yeah, and good in the sack.
And Drew's mom's like, so somebody like you, Mimi.
Mm-hmm. And she gets so fucking offended.
And I'm just like, is there a whole Mimi has a crush on Drew plot line here that I've been missing?
We've toyed with this before. Like, remember when they went into her apartment and found like the Drew shrine with like all those photos and things?
I'm forgetting the fucking Drew shrine.
Yeah. But like that also wasn't that though. Like apparently that was like photos she would send to women's prisons.
Yeah, but that was also the cover up.
Yeah. It's
God,
the classic.
I
don't know if it's. I don't know which show started first, but it reminds me of Hey Arnold a little bit.
Oh yeah, 100%.
With the Helga Arnold sort of. Oh, I hate you, football head. Like, but then she's actually secretly in love. I don't know if that's where this is going. I do think there's general hatred there for the two of them, but like a game recognized game, you know,
right?
I don't know. I think it's refreshing as well that tension isn't there because it seems like Drew wants to bone every single woman kind of that falls into his orbit.
It's nice to have a sitcom with a female character that is strong and that people don't want to have sex with.
Drew, does Mimi pass the Bechdel test at any point?
Mimi is the only thing that could.
So then we go right to the Warsaw bachelor party.
Only place to have it.
It begins with my favorite thing in the world, just pouring liquor into everybody's mouth.
Yes,
they're
going
all leaning
straight
back
down the bar.
Yeah, straight up. It's Lewis doing it. It's a huge group of guys, and I guess it makes sense when you realize it's two people's bachelor parties.
Yeah, you know what? I'm just realizing that now because literally my first note was like, there are like fucking 30 guys at this bachelor
there's a lot of
party.
dudes.
That's
now,
insane.
You know, we just had one bachelor party and we had 15 to 16 people, and I was like, that's that's a lot of guys. But
Two people.
Granted,
They have all the same friends.
yeah, that's true.
It seems like it's just they kept every guy who goes to the Warsaw.
Yeah. They're like, hey, you guys want an extra day of pay as a background? It's just people we've never seen either. Like,
Yeah.
But the people
we also
have
got
seen,
like Wick.
exactly. Mr. Wick's there. We got Drew, obviously. Oswald Lewis, Drew's dad.
Yeah.
which is
Larry
fun.
comes in with the porn.
Yeah, I love how much of a staple they make the idea of watching porn at a bachelor party.
Yeah.
Yeah. But especially at like a bar like this together.
Yeah, we got a bunch of porn VHSs to pop in at the bar and watch it. And the way they all crowd around the TV like it's the fucking Super Bowl. They have like beer and snacks, and
They're all
getting
excited.
Ready.
They're strategizing. They're talking about.
They're thinking about what silly thing they're gonna say whenever the guy whips out his penis. And I'm like, this. Could you imagine this is your bachelor party activity?
Yeah.
Before they were talking about like strippers, which is classic normal bachelor party activity.
Absolutely. Gambling, something like that.
Just
drinking. We're already there. But the idea that like we're gonna gather around a tube top TV and watch VHS pornography.
And it's porn that Larry got from he said he skimmed the top. Was it a guy he knew or like a roommate or something?
No, Larry knows a guy.
Larry knew a guy.
Always knows a guy.
And he's like, I just skimmed the titles. I grabbed a few off the top.
Yeah.
That's it.
Doesn't think much about it. So yeah, they all gather around to watch this tape, and they're getting excited, and they're like, oh yeah, look at that guy. Yeah, muscular, strong. Look at that guy, really muscular, strong. Where are the women? And it slowly dawns on them that they're watching.
I think they made a comment about, he's warming them up for the women, right?
Yeah. Well, they realize we start getting like mouths agape and silence. They realize it's gay porn.
Yeah.
And Wick's like, oh, he's warming them up for the women, I guess.
Yeah.
They start going through the titles that Larry has brought. I wrote down a couple that I enjoyed. Men in Back.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's like they're all like direct parodies of Three Men and a Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, they it's immediately a no-go with Larry's porn.
Yeah.
No,
but then
thank
don't
you.
worry. Oswald steps up. He's like, don't worry, I got a backup from Drew's collection.
Yeah, he found a tape that Drew had, and it's
50 misconceptions about human resources.
Yeah, there you go. He was like, and I know it must be a good one because it was in his secret stash.
Yeah.
Remember way back, one of the very first episodes, they had Drew's
porn
secret
stashes?
shelf?
Oh.
Do you think it was on the shelf? I bet it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had to be.
That's a callback to like the third episode of this podcast.
Wow, yeah.
When we were recording into potatoes, I believe, and broadcasting it out to the internet. Yeah, no, I don't know. I like the idea that Drew has a VHS porn collection somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was just something that a lot of people had.
Yeah.
Imagine you had to go buy some video. Well, you didn't have to go buy videos. You could rent them, but there was or you could just get magazines. But if you wanted video porn, you had to get it on a VHS. And they did have, I remember going to the back of a family video.
Yeah.
Speaking of the bead curtain.
Yeah.
And you could go to the rental stores and you could see all the different porn options. We weren't really, when I was going back there, you weren't really allowed to be back there.
Yeah,
it was
no.
still like, you were just like, you had to be like 18 or older. But
it's like how I remember we had a place at the mall. I'm trying to remember what the name of it was. It was mostly like a CD store, but you could buy DVDs, and they had a section in the back that like anybody could walk through. There was no beads or door dividing it, but they would just flip the titles, so it would be like a white cover on the back, and you would have to flip it yourself to look at it. I also want to say, and again, I work in a creative comedy space when I'm about to say this, but we were talking the other day at work about the death of the porn music industry. I feel like when you watched porn, like, decades ago, years ago, the music that you would hear was a big,
very specific. Yeah.
That doesn't exist anymore in pornography on the internet.
Nobody's turning out just like heavy funk.
Yeah, no. There's no Barry White anymore playing in the background.
You never get any just like fat bass.
I know we started off talking about the slow death of media industries.
Yeah.
Light a candle for the porn music people. Those guys went out of work and they're just sitting around with their dicks in their hands and they don't know what to do.
Do you think those guys, when they set out to make music, knew where it was headed? Or did one day, like they had made it, and then one day their agent comes and their agent's like, all right, I got us a gig. I got us a contract.
Listen, it's money.
Stay
it's money.
open-minded.
Yeah, no, I know you went to Juilliard, but listen. Yeah, the idea of like a music student so desperate to break in and like, congratulations, you got Debbie Does Dallas 4. No, but like literally the way like people like I was like, like people would soundtrack movies today. You'd be like, oh man, Trent Reznor's doing Challengers or whatever.
Right.
Did that exist for pornography? Like, oh man, I got the new Ron Jeremy tape, dude. Yeah. I like to think it's that and not disappointment over where it ended.
The funny thing with porn music now is if there is music, I gotta turn it off. I can't watch porn music now.
Yeah.
I don't know how it ever became a thing where it's like, oh, you're gonna watch these two people have sex and there's gonna be this funky backtrack or. But if I hear like the slightest inkling of music, I'm like, oh no, forget it. I'm out.
It just doesn't feel like it belongs. It feels like somebody did it in Windows Movie Maker real quick. Was like, oh yeah, I'll just drag this.
Right.
Because every time we touch, I get this feeling. Oh man. So Drew has to quickly divert them from watching this sex tape. So I guess the way he's able to divert them, we skipped over it earlier. His dad almost makes them watch the tape.
Yeah.
Him, his mom, and Drew all gathered around. And he's like, oh, I saw this. I want to learn a little more about Drew's job.
Yeah, this was after he was taking the shit upstairs.
Yeah, I guess he found time after the shit to look through Drew's VHS collection.
Yeah,
Everybody's just going through Drew's VHS
secret
tapes.
shelf.
Yeah. Just digging through. And
Also, just like hide the damn video.
yeah.
Why are you putting it with your VHSs?
Yeah.
You don't have to just
Put it under the bed.
Yeah. Also, seems like it recorded a pretty rough memory in hindsight.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you think that one would get buried somewhere?
You think he just right over the tape.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, he's able to distract them by saying how boring it is, and his parents don't want to watch it. Then when we're back at the Warsaw and it comes again, we get this moment where he's like, "Oh, my dad already watched it," and we're able to divert that whole thing.
Yeah.
But it's at this moment then that Lewis gives Drew and Oswald essentially like a bunch of cash, like a little nest egg.
Yeah.
For their upcoming nuptials.
Yeah, it's nice. It's in these like big jars.
Yeah, just like almost like the cheese ball jars.
Yeah. It seems like they went around the Warsaw like they do at church, and they just had people put in $20.
Yeah.
And they had a few nest eggs. Oswald's psyched about it.
He's
obviously,
he doesn't want to tell Kate.
No, he wants to just keep
like,
the
this
money.
Is my money.
And then Drew is like, I can't take that. You got to take it back, because again, he hasn't told anyone.
He knows, he feels wrong taking that money.
Yeah, he feels wrong.
And his father,
he's not getting married.
His dad freaks out on him though. He's like, "No, you don't understand. If you don't think you need this money, you're crazy." He's like stuffing it into his fucking jean pockets.
Yeah.
And then this is the point where he's like, "Dad, I got to tell you, we're not getting married." And I didn't want to tell you because Mom was, saying you've been depressed and all this stuff.
Right.
And we also get a moment where his dad goes, "I was depressed for a little bit, but for the last 3 months, I've just been using it to get out of mowing the lawn."
Yeah, he's just milking it.
Real dad move, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, it makes Drew feel a little better, but his dad doesn't even have time to process it though.
No, because instantly they wheel in a giant cake.
Giant cake. You know where this trope's going. Give me the lady inside the cake. Pop out the cake. Stripper. We get a hand, a little gloved hands action. Everybody's go, "Ooh yeah!" And then there you go. It's Steve. Steve cross-dressing. He's got like a very tasteful pink lingerie on.
Yeah,
as tasteful as it could be. It's like there's a word for it. Like I'm trying to remember what it is, but it's like one of the bustier vests.
Yes. I was actually surprised that because this is like a legitimate bachelor party.
Yeah.
I was surprised because I was pretty, in the first scene where they're talking about the bachelor party way back at Drew's house, they're talking about what kind of lady do you want, a blonde or a brunette? So clearly, like, they're gonna have strippers.
Yeah. And
at some point along the way, they were convinced, just throw his brother in the cake. Fuck it.
Steve will do it for free. Steve will do it for free. We used all the money for the nest egg.
Right.
So, but this is also a great moment for Steve to connect with his father about his cross-dressing.
Yeah. Also, we never talked about dads going to bachelor parties at all.
Do you think that's a weird thing?
Yes.
I agree generally. I have been told, like Stasia's dad, I don't know if John listens to this, but like he has gone to bachelor parties of like family members. Not like I'm sure like his brothers and stuff, but I mean like her cousins and things.
Really?
Tagged along to it. Yeah.
I guess it kind of depends on what kind of bachelor party you're going for, but I just feel like...
To the point when we were planning
also, my dad's
brother's.
so old, so it's weird.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
But like when we were planning my brother's bachelor party, Stasia was like, you're not going to invite your dad or your soon-to-be sister-in-law's dad? I was like, absolutely not. No. She was like, oh, that's why
I feel
not?
like even if I'm them, I don't really want to go.
Yeah, I think that's probably what would have happened if we invited my father.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Her dad's pretty fucking cool. I do have to say. I'm not just trying to win brownie points on my podcast. He's a cool dad.
I would say is if you're going to have it at like the local bar,
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
If you're going on a trip where you get hotel rooms and it's a whole big thing, it does feel like a different level of commitment. It might be more, but if you're just going to go down to the Warsaw, okay,
Yeah.
I kind of get it then.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the dad there is. I agree, kind of weird, but we need it for the plot.
We need it for the plot. Him and he just kind of stares at Steve here.
Yeah. Drew goes, well, congratulations, you've got an excuse to not mow the lawn for the rest of your life. They're really making the look how fucking bad this is for you.
Yeah, look at your weird son.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. That's where we
But
end
they do
this
seem
scene.
well, we'll cut to the next scene actually.
Yes.
Is a great we pick up at the next scene, we're back at Drew's house. And luckily, we find a nice little resolution with this. It's a one-off. I love how quickly this show resolves plots. It's a voicemail from his mom, and they're talking about, we're back in Florida, and on the way back, your dad. She was like, your dad's really coming to terms with Steve. I think he's in a good place. He bought him a cute little one piece.
There you go.
So shout out Mr. Carey.
Yeah. He went from being disgusted by his son
embracing it.
to sexualizing him immediately.
Yes, to sexualizing
to objectifying his son.
It was a one piece, not a two piece.
There's less skin being shown. No, it is a nice resolution. But then there's immediately a not nice resolution. We finally understand why Drew felt this had to end. And spoiler alert, it wasn't really Drew that thought it had to end. We finally get Drew alone with the sex tape.
Yeah,
and he puts it in.
He puts it in. And like just to set the scene a little bit, the lights seem a little dimmer. It's very quiet.
He looks glum.
Yeah.
And we're watching the tape. It kind of picks up where we left off in the cold open. Nikki slapping his ass and him talking about their kids and everything. And then she goes to she gets off the bed to go get something.
Yeah.
And she's like admiring the camera, and like the camera is plugged into this giant TV monitor, like we said at the start. And she's like looking at herself and like, looking at her face, and she just becomes immediately disgusted with herself and her body. And she's like, I don't even know how you can like this. Just real sort of like a lot of self-hatred going on.
Yeah.
And Drew is like kind of there pleading, being like, no, I love you. Like, I don't know why you don't see what I see.
And she was like, this is why I didn't even want to date you in the first place.
Right.
Is I just can't be around people who eat.
Yeah, I can't be with someone who eats. I just saw my fat ass on camera. You're the problem.
Yeah.
A lot of like mean shit. Pretty mean shit
to
about
herself
Drew.
and to him.
Yeah. And Drew's even like offering this whole time to be like, I'll help you. And she's like, you can't help. Like, you are the problem.
Yeah.
Heartbreak. Really like emotionally heartbreaking shit.
I kind of like the way they tastefully do it or artistically do it. However you want to put it. I mean, they have this reveal.
Yeah.
It's the two of them sitting on the foot of the bed, and you can't really see their faces or anything. It's just their bodies kind of pleading. You just see her putting her shoes on, and you can see, you can hear the emotion, and you can see it maybe in some of their gesturing. But
it's really good acting in terms of
it's really good
without the facial expressions. You're really selling it with the tone of voice. And Drew gets quiet, I think, as he's trying to like just get himself out of the situation, and she becomes more aggressive and louder. Like, it's a real dichotomy of sort of like, two different people at odds. One person trying to keep the puzzle together and another person just smashing it.
And the way it ends is she just realizes, she's like, turn this off. She grabs the camera. She's like, we don't need this recording our last night together.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
And so it was Nikki all along. Nikki called it off. Drew desperately wants to be, I guess, engaged, which is not the vibe. Again, it's just not the vibe we had thought this was going to be when the engagement episode happened.
No, I really thought it seemed like Drew was regretting it.
Yeah.
But he came around to it.
And now
But this, this
upset.
is the most predictable way for it to end based on what our introduction to Nikki was.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew that she had issues with her weight before, and she worked very hard to get over it. And then that whole thing with her parents being like, oh my God, look at her now, and she can't be with eaters. So we were building
This
to
has
it. We
been a
dropped it and we
whole-
built to it.
a whole season of like, not even just with Nikki, but like we started this off with Drew having his big old beer gut like on a billboard. Like,
Yeah.
I think I said it back then. I really wondered if we were gonna go into this whole sort of like weight thing with Drew, and we've definitely done that. Like, there's especially with the Nikki saga and all of it.
Yeah.
They really touched on. They've hit a nerve, I think, with body image stuff. It's fascinating to watch in the 90s.
But it's really this was actually a genuinely sad moment when like this scene ends. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is this, Full House or something? Why do
it
why
gave
do
me
I feel
Full House
things?
energy. Right.
Why do I feel hurt? Yeah, it's sad. And then that's kind of where we leave it. The credit scene.
It's a little palate
We leave
cleanser.
with a little bit of levity. It's Oswald buries his nest egg in that dumb plastic jar in Drew's yard.
Yeah.
To just hide it from Kate, like a dog would.
Yeah.
Just digging a little hole.
And then Kate finds it.
Immediately walks out. He
Immediately
leaves,
digs it.
walks out behind him, and is like, idiot. Shout out to Kate. She knows her man like a fucking book.
Yeah, maybe they will work.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, so we go from that to maybe the horniest episode this show has ever had.
Yeah.
And not the way that I think you're thinking it's going to
naturally,
go.
They had to get Drew out of a relationship to make the horniest
Oh,
episode.
1,000%. But you're like, oh, well, Drew's going to go like swinging. You know what I mean?
Nope.
No, not even a little bit. So we start with season 3, episode 21, The Sex Drug.
Yeah.
I love
this
that
episode is brought to you by Blue Chew.
Yeah. Well, no, I was saying it sounds like the title is like how your grandfather would describe like Cialis without knowing the term for it.
yeah,
It's
right.
the sex drug. Yeah.
Yeah, doctor's got me on the sex drug.
Yeah. It's Drew's alone, and he's just building a model airplane in his kitchen.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a sad scene. It's like a man trying to find a purpose
Right.
again.
Well, to watch these back to back, it makes it sad. I feel like to the regular viewer who watched these on TV maybe back in the day and you had a week break before the next episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
It didn't hit as hard, but to see him then building planes, I was like, oof.
Yeah.
All right. He's
Damn.
looking desperately for a hobby or
There's-
anything to give his life meaning.
It's just not good to see a 30-something-year-old man building a model airplane.
building model airplanes.
Gonna be honest, I don't mean any disrespect to
Yeah, I
the
don't
modeling
I
community.
don't want to yuck your yum because
Yeah.
I do know people who build models. I have people in my family who are adults that build models of.
Can I ask questions?
ships.
Did they go through brutal divorces?
No, they're
Okay.
actually happy married.
Oh, well, there you go.
Happily married with multiple kids.
That's fine then. That's great. Great.
Yeah.
I think the context of it maybe makes it like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
But don't worry. Drew's not alone for long here. The gang comes through, mainly to see how he's doing. He hasn't been to the Warsaw all week since Nikki left. And, they're just worried about him. Kate's got a new haircut.
Yeah,
Just
Kate's
a
got
little
new haircut.
aside. They gave Kate a bob.
Little Bob.
No reason. No rhyme or reason.
No, I was actually wondering. You think that's just like, this is outside the show, just speaking from a production aspect. Do you think it's like a thing you ever have to give like the director a heads up on?
I would imagine.
Kate's just like because that's probably her just making a decision in her own personal life.
Well, do you remember the episode where she
to be
goes
like,
blonde?
oh, I want a new hair.
There was the whole episode where she went blonde, and I was like, oh, wow,
Yeah,
that's just
yeah.
a change. But no, then it's actually a whole plot point.
Yeah, but
this is
not a plot point. This is just someone that probably wanted a haircut,
Yeah.
change things up.
Yeah.
And
Well-
I'm like, in that case, do you still have to warn the show?
We're
Probably.
building towards a wedding here, so I wonder if she wanted like a cut to then grow out or something. Like, I wonder if there's a production reason for it that we're going to learn later. But
That'd be crazy.
it's a nice haircut. That's all I got to say about it right now.
Yes.
It's a nice haircut.
Hey, nice haircut.
Krista Miller, nice
30
haircut.
years ago.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. So then the gang goes into the living room with Drew.
Yeah.
Motherfucker has so many model airplanes. It looks
Yeah,
like
we didn't-
World War II in the sky. It's crazy.
We didn't realize that. We only saw the one he was building, and
Yeah.
then they were like, and then he takes the gang into the other room, and they're like, "Oh, this is a
Like there's at least
problem.
20 hanging.
Yeah.
Like, and you know what? It kind of made me feel a little bit better about Drew's situation because at least like he's grinding on it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Hustle.
He's got something to show for it."
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's not just like him painting one wing over and over.
Yeah.
No, motherfucker's building a battalion. He's out here like ready to go.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're like, this isn't good. He's got sand in his bathroom. He's reenacting World War II scenes, I guess.
Yeah. He said that's a battlefield.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like supposed to be Normandy or something, but he's trying his best. He hasn't been sleeping well, we learn. It's basically he's been up straight for like 3 days or something just doing all this shit.
Yeah.
It's bad. So they all decide collectively, like they intervene and they're like, you need to go to sleep.
How did it take him this long to intervene? They didn't see him for
lead-
a week. They
Well,
gave him
it's-
some space.
I was going to say they lead busy lives, but like we know them.
They live at his fucking house.
Yeah, they essentially live there. They all work in the same office.
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's been going to work unless it's a weekend.
No, he's been going to work because the next scene is him at the office.
Him at the office, yeah. But before then, we do get them singing a lullaby to put him to sleep. And he's like, what is this? I'm not childish.
Oh, this is great.
All this. And then they slowly start singing the Burger King Have It Your Way theme song.
Yeah.
Which I didn't realize.
I didn't know it had more words.
Right. I know it from the new iteration of it
Yeah.
that we see in like, the ads about Whopper.
Whopper.
They had a whole thing of just like, I don't even know what it is. I guess the 90s.
Yeah, the
had
only
its
way
own
I
version.
knew it was Burger King was when they were like, "You can have it your way."
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh shit,
I know that
all right,
slogan.
yeah,
And they take off his glasses, and Drew's out like a light.
yeah."
Just
But
like that.
he fell asleep on Oswald's hand.
Right. And
So
Oswald's
they're
going to
like,
get him off.
oh, we need to get him up. So they start singing about apples, carrots, potatoes,
Yeah,
peas.
they
Your mom
immediately
says
go to
you gotta need
vegetables and healthy
And then
foods.
he rolls over. Oswald gets his hand out, and then Oswald sings him back to sleep with the Campbell's soup song.
Yes.
So
Everything in Drew's life is food
Is
oriented.
food, yes.
Nonstop. So yeah, then you're right.
why didn't him and Nikki work?
Then we see Oswald post credits in Drew's kitchen working on a batch of green dyed Buzz beer. It's St. Patty's Day.
St. Patty's Day.
They're getting
baby.
ready. The coffee infused liquor is alcohol, I guess, not liquor.
Yeah,
It's-
beer.
yeah,
whatever.
the beer.
Coffee
They're-
infused beer.
they're making their
it
green beer.
They're just putting. He's putting it in a pot, but like they're just putting fucking dye in it.
Yeah, it's not that crazy.
Yeah.
Nothing going on. Lewis comes in through the door, and he's in the most tattered work jumpsuit from Drug Co. you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
Ripped to pieces. Looks like he's been through a hell of a time. And we find out he has.
Yes. They were apparently testing the sex drugs on the monkeys at
Yes.
Drug Co.
They're developing like a new drug to improve seniors' sex drive.
Yeah, but they just
And-
keep calling it the sex drug.
Yeah, we don't really know if there's a name for it. Anyway, the
And
monkeys
a bunch of horny monkeys.
attacked Lewis. They were trying to bend him over and have their way with him.
Yeah.
And Oswald finds it so fucking funny.
Oswald was like, how did you get out? I mean, he was like, they didn't actually. And he's like, no, I made myself look ugly.
Yeah.
So, I do love that too. But I guess
monkeys have standards.
monkeys have standards. I guess he also probably couldn't have fought off a bunch of monkeys.
Depends how many. I think.
Well, it depends what kind of monkey too.
It's
I feel like monkeys are probably so hard. Obviously you can't fight like a chimp, but
we just went through a whole saga of 100 men or one gorilla.
yeah.
We didn't think one man versus 100 monkeys.
I don't think they're testing gorillas.
Could you imagine if they were?
That'd be crazy.
I don't know, man. You know what? Have you seen King Kong? I'm pretty sure he was on the sex drug. He just wanted that lady real bad. He was so desperate for that strange, he was climbing up the Empire State Building.
Poured New York to shit.
If I can't have her, no one can. But yeah, no. Oswald just keeps laughing and laughing over it, and Lewis is sick of it. We learned that Lewis has confiscated the sex drug from Drug Co.
Yeah, and he's going to throw it out.
He's like, nobody's going to have to deal with what I just went through. And as he's like putting it away in his pocket, almost falls right in the goddamn green
Almost
beer.
Immediately falls in the green beer. But no, that would have been too predictable.
Right. No, and it's also too unsafe.
Yeah.
You can't have that go in the beer.
Well, yes, but for the show purposes, plot-wise, that's going to be too predictable. So now Lewis is going to take this outside, and he's going to throw it in the trash can.
Yes.
And then we're going to Looney Tunes style this shit where the dog comes up. And
Speedy.
I love, my favorite part about all this is the audience following along with it.
Yeah,
you know, you
absolutely.
can hear, they see Speedy come up and he grabs the sex drug.
The bag. It's in a loose baggie.
Yeah, it's in a loose baggie. He grabs it. He drops it on the walkway outside. And then the audience is like, oh, ah. And then a crow comes down, grabs the sex drug, takes it up to the roof of the garage.
Yeah.
Starts picking at it, opens it up. Everyone's thinking, it's going to do something with the bird.
Yes. We're going to get a horny bird.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted more than anything.
Yes.
Quoth the raven, horny bird. But then, no, we get Lewis and Oswald coming out. And, Oswald's got this big vat of the beer. And Lewis stops me, goes, wait, we're not being safe. And he stops right at the edge of the garage roof where the crow is. Crow starts pouring that shit right into the vat.
Yeah.
Immediately. And then Lewis comes out. Lewis comes out with the lid. He's like, don't worry, now it's safe.
No, now we need a lid.
Geniuses. So yeah, they got
a bunch of
you
green
got
horny
some
beer.
sex drugs in my green beer.
Yeah. And this sex drug, I guess we don't know yet. Mm-hmm. But it's not just like, when you say sex drug, like you said, it immediately makes you think of Viagra or Cialis or something.
A bunch of boners.
Nope.
No.
This sex drug apparently makes your body like vibrates and gives you
fucks with your mind.
It fucks with your mind. Everything is sexualized.
Yeah.
I mean, it's they don't make drugs like this anymore.
Not anymore. No. It was this was what MK Ultra should have been, I think. I think if the FBI should have taken people in to be like, you're going to get the horniest you've ever gotten in your life. But no, instead we just did mind control.
I like the idea that it's about making people, I guess it's for senior citizens. I'm just like, it's about making people horny or not helping them perform.
Right.
It's
no, in this world, the senior citizens can still get it up, but it's just they've got no desire to.
Yes.
It's really just it's a depression medication is what it sounds like to me.
Yeah.
An old person being like, what's the point?
So anyway, next scene we're at the office.
Yes. Drew is interviewing a man.
Yeah, he's not handling his breakup. Well,
No.
you could say that.
He's asking this guy questions, and he's looking at his resume, and it says, "Oh, it says here you've been married for 2 months."
Yeah.
Why would you put that on a resume?
Right.
Who in the fuck
That's crazy.
is being like, oh, yes, and I went down to City Hall, and me and the missus made it official. I've never in my life thought, like...
I could see if you want to put in like a college application or something.
Maybe. I don't know. I just got rid of
like
my GPA off my resume. Like, why the fuck are you adding in your marriage?
Yeah.
Bizarre. But yeah, this obviously sends Drew into a spiral over like, I almost got married. Almost. She left me, but it's fine. I'm doing okay. How do you stop loving someone? You want to see a picture? I'm not this desperate.
Yeah.
Like,
Guy runs out of the room.
yeah, he's immediately uninterested in the job. The guy does, though, before. He's like, so is this like a test?
Yeah.
To see how I deal with awkward situations?
Nah, buddy, this is
This is where he's at. This is the baseline. You should see the living room, dude. It's crazy.
I think most dudes, if they saw the living room, they'd be like, hell yeah.
I think that is a dude's rock living room.
Yeah.
Like with all the fucking
you walk in
airplanes
and
hanging.
you just have a bunch of airplanes hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a 5-year-old boy's dream.
Yeah, I remember my favorite thing growing up. We had the glow-in-the-dark planets and stars that you stick to the ceiling.
Yeah, well, it's like stickers, right? Not like hanging.
No.
Yeah,
but we did have hanging planets too. Ooh. I was obsessed with space.
Yeah.
So I had one of those, like, what do they call the
planets, orbs.
No,
stars.
but there's a proper name for it's on multiple poles, hanging from multiple poles. It's like a diorama.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's like the thing you would find
You'd find it in like a museum.
I was gonna say like a baby crib. Isn't that what you're thinking? Like
yeah, but it's bigger and it's the planets and it's actually really cool and it's
not for babies.
It's definitely not for babies.
No, it's like adult. It's really cool. Yeah. No, I don't know.
No.
What made you so excited about space?
I don't know, because now I think about space and I'm like,
Yeah.
you know,
I
did the
feel
rocket
like-
blow up?
Well, yeah, the rocket's exploding.
Because I don't know what it was. I was just kind of obsessed with science, and space was cool.
Yeah.
I thought like planets, like the sheer size of them, Saturn, Jupiter, and you know that was fascinating. I wasn't interested in exploring space. I didn't want to learn more space. I felt maybe I liked space because I felt like I learned just enough space. I knew about like the asteroid belt.
Yeah. Somebody told you at one point that space was infinite, and you were like, no.
No.
I'm good.
Not my space.
8 planets.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's stars.
I didn't even know what the Milky Way galaxy was. I just knew the planets, including Pluto, because that Pluto used to be a planet in my world.
I was going to say, did you have big feelings when Pluto was deplanetized?
I was.
Yeah.
I was a little annoyed.
I was writing a letter to my local congressman.
Yeah.
Dear representative.
But I don't have a good reason for liking space. I think
That's fine.
I think I had some posters, and I did have the curtains and the bed sheets. It was like an obsession.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell you why.
Everybody as a kid, I
might
got
have been
into,
going to the Carnegie Science Center in Pittsburgh.
Sure, you were exposed to it more probably because you had things in your local area. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't, so I got into SpongeBob SquarePants. But, you know, different strokes, different folks.
Yeah.
Drew, as he's making this as Drew causes this man to leave, Mimi comes in.
Full St. Patty's Day garb.
Oh, you knew she was going to look like a motherfucking leprechaun.
Drew calls her the yuck of the Irish. That's like,
That's a good one. That's a good one. We find out, though, not only is it St. Patrick's Day, it's court day.
Yeah.
Finally, with no fanfare, no Steve Buscemi, mind you.
No,
We didn't get this
at
closure.
all.
It's just, oh, by the way, here's the fucking day. We're going to testify.
Oh, we're going to be in court. It's just going to be today. Drew, you're going to testify, right? You're still going to do it?
Yeah.
Mimi asks, you still going to do it? He's like, yeah. You know.
Yeah. They have nobody
Drew's a
else that will
company
testify.
stooge.
Drew's the lone person that's going to testify in this court case.
Yeah.
Other than, of course, Mimi and Wick. So, you know, they're hoping it goes well. Mimi's convinced that as long as Drew, because Drew knows what happens, Mimi knows what happened.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't qualify it, as long as he gives like the yes and no answers that she wants, she's gonna win this shit easy.
Yeah.
Wick, meanwhile, comes out and is very scared.
Yeah. Well,
Doesn't want to be deported.
exactly. He
Yes.
thinks he's going to get deported if this goes south.
Yeah.
Very real.
He can't go back. Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
Sometimes history repeats. History doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme.
Yes.
No, he's very worried. He says, I can't go back. I love this. This is such a... Do you know how bad the taxes are? Well, I ran over a vicar. Isn't that what he says?
Yeah.
I wrote that down. I was just like, what a fucking lovely non sequitur that they gave Craig
Yeah.
Ferguson to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway.
I was listening to Craig on another podcast
Not
recently.
his. By the way, I do want to say in the last episode, I forgot that it is his podcast. Do you know the name of it?
What?
It's just called Joy. Joy.
Really? That's it?
Joy the podcast.
Come on, man.
I love you, Craig Ferguson. We could workshop it a
Yeah,
little
we
bit.
could. You didn't have anyone to figure out a name with. You didn't even have like a friend or a girlfriend to run that by.
I did also watch a little bit of
wife?
the Dietrich Bader podcast. I watched maybe the first 10 minutes of it.
Yeah.
Really good stuff. Apparently, by the end of it, by the end of this show, everybody on the cast hated each other.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, in case you're wondering
I
what to
can't
look
wait.
forward to,
I can't wait to get there.
when we get to season 9, the season that barely aired, everybody hated doing it. Apparently,
Yeah.
it's gonna rock. We committed. We're almost there. We're
Yes.
1/3 of the way through this.
So I was listening to Craig. He was on another podcast. Sorry, I can't shout out whatever the podcast is. It just came up in my YouTube recommended, and he was talking about him even getting on this show and how he said he quit one sitcom, and I think it was suddenly, but I might be lying about that. But that might be another one that he's auditioned for. Either way, he quit a sitcom, and he was like, nobody just quit sitcoms back in the day.
Yeah.
Maybe Suddenly Susan was the show he was auditioning for. Either way, he was auditioning for another show where he had to have a Mexican accent, and he didn't know that. So while he was auditioning at that time, they were obviously like, he did the audition. He was like, obviously this isn't going to work. But they knew he needed work, and they were like, there's another audition at the show, the Drew Carey show.
Yeah.
They need an English boss. So I thought it was
That's
interesting.
more in his wheelhouse.
Yes. Well, I thought it was interesting that they had already decided that it was going to be an English boss.
Well, if you remember from season 1, the Dutch take over.
Yes.
So they needed it to be a European variety.
I just didn't, I didn't expect it. I guess that makes sense then.
Yeah.
And then, anyway, when he accepted the job, he only had 27 cents, he says, in his pocket.
Damn.
So he had
What a weird number of cents to have.
right.
Not even 30? You couldn't get it up to even?
And as he points out, you can't even take 27 cents out of the bank because you need $1 to take out of the bank.
That's true.
He was apparently dead broke. He had just quit a sitcom.
Was it the Are You Garbage podcast? Do you know?
It might be. I don't
Our Philly
remember.
boys, Kevin Ryan and...
Yes, this was the podcast.
Hell yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that was the one. Are You Garbage podcast.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Shout out the boys.
And you can confirm what show it was that he quit and which he auditioned for, because again, we're very well researched.
Yeah, just...
But moral of the story,
You know the deal,
he
write
had
us.
quit a sitcom. He auditioned to be with a Mexican accent. It didn't work out. He auditioned to be an Englishman. He didn't have very much money. All very interesting.
I love Craig Ferguson, and I hope he doesn't get deported as Mr. Wick in this series. So he's worried about that, and then finally, the last person to enter this scene,
Miss Louder.
Ms. Louder, and she's fucking got like something up her ass. She's so worried about this trial and them losing it, and it all comes down to Drew, the lone testifier, and she's basically like you got to do it for the company, be the company man, do keep us in mind and everything. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Drew. She tells him basically not to blow it.
Yeah,
whatever you do.
She says it could
don't
cost
blow
the company $2 million.
Yeah.
So basically, I'm going to either fire you if you blow it, or I'm going to consider you executive material if
you do it.
You do it.
Yeah,
and you do it well.
He's got to, and it's this afternoon. The trial is like literally in like an hour or two. So don't fuck it up, Carey.
Yeah.
So what does Drew do? He goes to the fucking Warsaw because it's St. Patrick's Day. You could go to the bar.
Yeah.
So we go into the Warsaw. The gang is all there. They're drinking the Green Buzz beer.
Everyone's cracking them open.
Everybody's loving it, and they're slowly starting to feel pretty good.
Almost immediately. Almost like they've never had drugs before.
Almost like they've never felt horny before.
Yeah.
They're immediately like, this is good. Like
Yeah.
Kate makes remarks about it being real nice and everything.
They feel like a big truck's rolling by.
Yeah. My seat's
because the
vibrating.
seat's vibrating,
Yeah.
and now it's vibrating on Oswald's seat
Yeah.
too. And
It's
then
spreading.
Lewis is just saying sex and breasts, like
Yeah.
he's word salad in his brain.
Little Freudian slips happening throughout.
Yeah.
Drew is aware that he's got to testify and he's worried about this, but he's back out and he's happy, and it's St. Patrick's Day, and he's like, I'll just one sip's fine.
And he takes a big old swig.
It is a crazy swig that he does. I couldn't really believe how big he was
How
going
quickly he turned the table from just a sip to we're gonna have a problem later.
Absolutely. And then we go to the courtroom. We're immediately there, and we're getting the two sort of testimonies. So we see both Mimi and Mr. Wick testify. Mr. Wick goes first. He's trying his best, man. He doesn't really know we learned the American courtroom rules, I think.
No, he doesn't.
So he starts crying. Mimi calls kind of BS.
Yeah.
The judge has to intervene.
He claims he's blind.
Yeah, at one point she's asking him like about specific things that he would have to lie about if he wanted to get out of it, and she explains to him the Fifth Amendment, but before then he's like, I'm blind, I don't know what's happening. And
Yeah.
we get this really mellow dramatic performance.
Yes.
So
he doesn't really
he
understand.
pleads the
but
fifth and he's out.
Yeah.
Mimi takes a stand, and we get Mimi basically bribing
the jury with Jettas.
Yeah, please, if you find me innocent, not innocent, if you find him guilty, I'll buy you all a Jetta.
Yeah, I'm So Mimi just has the money to just buy cars like Oprah and hand them out to the fucking jury?
I guess she would if she won the case. It's $2 million.
I guess I forgot that. Yeah.
Yeah, $2 million could probably get 12 people cars, right?
Yeah.
I gotta run the math on that in the 90s, but
Oh, that's good.
yeah. So the judge is of course like, no, she won't. She's doing like big winks into the camera.
Yeah.
Great acting. But anyway, the judge isn't impressed with either of them, and she's like, listen,
Unless you have a serious witness.
yeah, unless we can get actual witness testimony on this, it's not going to happen. And then
No.
they're both like, well, we got one guy. Enter Drew Carey.
Doors swing open,
Very dramatically, they swing open.
and there's Drew hitting on some lady in the hallway.
He is feeling himself.
Yeah.
Not literally, because that would be a crime. But
Yeah.
he's feeling real good. That sex
got-
drug is reached the gut. It's
Yeah.
in his bones.
He's leaning over some woman who's on the wall, and she's into it. And
Yeah.
he's just like, he's kind of like touching her hair. And
Yeah.
he's just like
Flirting.
flirting.
Absolutely. And he's like, I got to do this thing. I'll be
Yeah.
back later. Walks on in. Mrs. Louder stops him and goes, don't mess this up. I'm
Yeah.
watching you. He's like, oh, you like to watch. You can tell immediately. Just
Where this is headed.
sex is on the mind nonstop.
Yeah.
He swears it on the Bible, and he's like, oh, we like leather play. Like,
Yeah.
Kink Drew is here. He's here to play. Before we get to Drew's testimony, we get shots of what the sex drug is doing to all of the gang.
Yep.
Kate is so we get the interviewee from earlier coming in, and he's asking Kate, I think I left my pager here. And
Yes.
she's like, no. But very clearly, he's getting pages sent to that thing.
She keeps paging
Yeah.
his pager.
Yep, absolutely. She figured it out. Must have been on the
And
chair. I don't
Must
know.
have been on the chair
Yeah.
because she's just sitting stone faced.
She
ahead at
also calls Oswald, and she's like, I don't know where you are or what you're doing, but meet me at the house right now.
Yeah.
Oswald then is having a good time. We see him kind of motioning back and forth. My man's on one of those kiddie horsey rides.
Yeah, outside the grocery store.
He's just putting in quarters, just getting his rocks off. I found Lewis to be the best.
Lewis was the best. I mean, Lewis is naturally at a physical, and
Naturally, of course.
and
it's a St.
for a
Patrick's Day physical.
for a man,
drank before his physical.
For a man his age, that means you maybe got to get a prostate exam.
Yeah, well, we thought, but I think it's just the coffin drop. The guy's like, a lot of people don't like this. And then he goes,
That's
okay,
funny. Wait, yeah, that makes more
cough,
sense now.
and he's feeling it, and he's like, oh, I guess you really do like it. And Lewis goes, I thought it would help
I moved
clear
it
the
out of the
way.
way.
Yeah, if I moved it out of the way. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, we go back to Drew on the stand. He is tanking this thing so hard. Oh, I guess it's worth pointing out.
He's not
Female.
intentionally tanking it.
No, he's not. He snaps out of it in and out. He realizes what he's doing.
he keeps snapping in and out.
Female bailiff, female judge, female stenographer.
Yeah.
So already the odds are stacked against him. My man is ogling all of these women.
Right.
Yeah.
They have the stenographer read
A
Mimi's-
transcript of what happened.
a transcript of what happened, and obviously it's pretty sexually charged there. So Drew's like, "Can you read it again?"
Yeah, he's looking
and
at
then
her
he starts
behind.
hitting, and then he starts hitting on the judge, and then he's like, "Ooh, the bailiff's cute too," and he's
Yeah.
like, and then he points to the lawyer, and he's like, "You're cute too. I'd like to see all four of you maybe get together and do something."
yeah. And basically, he's found in contempt of court for
Yeah.
being a little horn dog.
Yeah, and the trial's dismissed.
Yeah, they're not able to do anything. So the judge is like, "Listen, this is it. Bye bye." Drew as exits. Ms. Louder is basically like, I'm gonna fire you, and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," and like starts hugging her. But then the hug gets a little too friendly, I would say.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's got a vomitus. And then it's here.
But here was my thing: is
Yeah.
like the trial was dismissed, so doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Drew doesn't lose his job. Nobody loses.
Drew
the
doesn't
money.
lose his job. Nobody loses money. It's almost like none of it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we get
And not only that,
Yeah.
there's a resolution. At
we
the
get
end of
this little resolution. Wick and Mimi talking after, and Wick. I think this is where the ultimate misunderstanding was. Where Wick's like, "I'm sorry that we had a plan and I cheated you out of the money."
Yeah.
And Mimi's like, "It was never about the money. It was about my feelings."
Right.
And she's trying to explain to him. She felt like she really wanted something with Nigel. And When she realized it wasn't meant to be, or that he didn't really care like that, it was just like, what's the point?
She
of any
went
of this?
scorched earth.
Yeah, she went scorched earth on it, and he apologizes. But not only does he apologize, he offers her old job back as his secretary.
Right.
He's like, it's strictly professional though. There's I'm not getting hot for you or anything like that. Just I feel like you were the best at this job, and I need you back. And then to celebrate this resolution, they're like, well, let's go drink a green beer at the Warsaw.
Yeah.
I'm sure nothing will happen there.
Yeah.
And we get
And
that.
then the last scene is the Warsaw, not with
Yes.
those two, but
It's the next day.
The next day, and the Warsaw is handing back everyone who forgot some stuff, which includes like an edible underwear.
We get there's one guy who's got like a weird book and some sunglasses, I think.
Yeah,
Just
like an
weird.
ascot.
Yeah.
Like everybody was a different person that day. They got horny and drunk at the Warsaw.
We'll never forget horny St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then in addition to that, we also learn, we get this fun little end scene where Lewis is like, oh yeah, we've been looking more into what a drug go. It turns out that the sex drug has an after effect.
Yeah.
And then Kate goes, oh no, what?
And then Oswald goes,
he's drinking a beer. And then Lewis goes, the sex drug has an after effect. Oh no, what? Over. And we slowly start to realize until Lewis
maybe like
breaks.
the fourth or fifth time, then Lewis breaks.
Ryan Stiles just breaks, and it's
then,
fantastic.
And yeah, they end the episode there.
Yeah. I wonder how long. I mean, it couldn't have gone for that long because
No.
they have time constraints.
Right.
Very funny.
I'm sure they were just going to let it ride until he did break. Yeah.
So that is the sex drug.
Yeah.
And we are through 21 episodes.
21
of season
episodes
3.
of season 3.
The
Look at us
highs and
churning
the
around.
lows,
Yeah.
the heartbreak and the horniness.
God, that first episode 20 with the ending with Nikki that way, that was... Yeah, that was something. You were right. That's like Full House or Fresh Prince, the finale level, like gut punch.
It's something that I didn't think this sitcom was like capable of.
Right.
Like not like that. Like we've gotten like
I don't think there's a lot of
Kumbaya moments.
sitcoms. I mean, I guess there's a lot of sitcoms that do it. Not a lot that I like. I feel like but
I
this
feel like a lot of like the Norman Lear sort of like genre of like family stuff. This is like not family like that.
No, and I didn't expect it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's got some heart, and it breaks your fucking heart sometimes,
Yeah.
So,
nevertheless, on to the next one.
We
Drew.
voyage on. Thank you.
Who's Drew gonna date next?
Do you think we're done with Nikki? Like, you think she's done for this season?
Yeah. Does Nikki make another appearance?
Yeah, probably. I think she's got to move out.
I bet you she makes another appearance and she lost all the weight again.
That'd be crazy if we see her later and she's like skinny again.
I feel like that's the only way they're going to do it. They're not going to show Fat Nikki again. I feel like if they do show her again, she's going to have lost all the weight and everything went back to the way it was. And they're not going to get together again, but that's just going to be it.
Could be.
But, I wonder if he's probably done dating this season. I mean, how many episodes we got left?
I think like 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the next one is obviously one of the fan favorites, the What's Wrong with this episode.
Yes.
So I don't know.
So we can tease ahead, maybe.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, I think the next episode we do will be just a whole review of that.
Of that one episode.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
And but yeah, for now, thank you for listening. If you want to listen to us on YouTube, you can at youtube.com/@Cleveland Rocks Podcast. We're on the Instagram, Cleveland Rocks Podcast. You can email us. Tell us what the fuck we got wrong at Cleveland Rocks Podcast @gmail.com.
We love to hear it.
Yeah, we always
definitely love to hear it.
We love to hear it. No, thank you for listening sincerely.
Yes.
And we'll see you on the next one.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.